On today's episode of the Sly Ed Experience podcast, we discuss building $1 million skincare brand. My guest today is an award-winning esthetician, makeup artist, and massage therapist. Voted in 2019 the best esthetician in Philadelphia by Philadelphia's Magazine, and was also again as the best esthetician by Philadelphia Style Magazine in 2022. With over 20 years experience, she excels at defining her clients' specific skincare conditions and needs, recommending customized treatments, and providing individualized consulting to support their short-term and long-term skincare needs. She also has traveled all over the world as an educator to national from national to international skincare and wellness line. She is the founder and CEO of Viviane's Aires Skincare Wellness. Please welcome my Brazilian sister, Viviane, to the show. What's going on, sis?
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to have this delightful conversation with you about skincare and business.
Thank you. Thank you for saying yes. I'm so excited because I was excited to have this conversation, but not as excited as I was when I actually got the chance to meet you. And then because your spirit is so like, I mean, it's like a joy. And you were so inviting and so warm, and you don't meet people like that every day. And I was so floored when you just walked up, and I love your glasses. We had the same, like, we have the same style. I was like, I'm feeling this sister, like she's got this going, she got it going on. So I was thrilled when you said yes. So thank you for taking out your time.
My
So
pleasure. My pleasure.
before we actually get in, because you're doing a lot, you are a busy woman, you're running a skincare line, you're doing all of the things, but I want to get the chance to get to know you a little bit better. So tell the audience and the listeners who Viviane is, and what do you do, or what before all of the business things. I want to know all about that.
Well, I'm a mother. I am a daughter. I am a businesswoman. I'm a wife. Yeah, but I'm more than just that. We are more than just that. We're just women. Right? We can do all things,
All
not
things.
at the same time, but
Yeah.
all things. But my journey started here in the United States, and I developed my career here in US. But I came to US in 1999, and I came to US as a nanny. So I worked with two different families, one in PA, and then I moved to Florida. And then, but I already made some friendships here in Philadelphia through a long story, but through a capoeira, Afro-Brazilian martial arts that I used to practice back home. And then I found this group in Philadelphia, so I kind of built a relationship with them. So when I moved to Florida, I maintained that friendship with them. And I said, okay, when I'm done with my turn with them, then I'll come back to Philly and I'll, just figure my life out. And that's what happened. As I worked with the family in Florida, I had the tendency to kind of massage their shoulders, right? Because I'm Brazilian, so I'm very touchy and I'm very expressive. So I was massaging their shoulders. They're like, "Oh, Viviane, you have very good hands. You should go to massage therapy school." And I was like, "Oh, really? Oh, it's a great career." And so then they said, we will help you to pay for school if you decide to stay with us. That sounds very sexy, but I already had made my plan to make my exit. It was just something within me that said, okay, time to go. And so I left and I came back to US, and then, I landed in Philly, and I told one of my friends at that time that, there was such thing as massage therapy. So then they were like, yeah, actually I have a friend who teaches in this school. I'm gonna get the information from him, and I'll let you know. So then I was doing housekeeping, I was doing data entry, I was doing office cleaning, I'm doing all of that. And then start, going to school for massage therapy. And fast forward, I got certified and I became a massage therapist. And with that time, I met someone from Brazil, actually. He was a massage therapist, and he asked me to cover his shift at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Philly. And I was like, wait, what? Ritz-Carlton Hotel? I had a little idea, because I passed by all the time, so I knew it was a grand hotel. So he was like, I said, at that time I didn't have my certification like final, but he was like, Viviane, you're very good. We already had exchange, massages. He was like, you're very good. I trust you. So just please cover my shift, and we can talk after that how I can get you, lined up for different jobs. So that how my career kind of started, because then when I finalized everything, now Rich Carlton was calling me to cover different shifts. And then at that time, one of the massage therapists got injured, and they were like, okay, we don't know how long she's going to stay away. So can you cover her shifts until we hear back from her? And she never came back. And that's boom. At that time, I was a massage therapist. And then I think within like a year, one of the managers said, hey, Viv, I think you should go to skincare school because then you'll be able to do two services. And I was like, oh, really? So I did my research and was like, cool. So then I've been, listen, tell me if my spirit lays, it's an alignment, I'll go for it, right? So then I was doing part-time, working part-time and part-time going to school. And so then I became a licensed esthetician. So within that Ritz-Carlton experience, I was doing very good in retail, and I was getting requests. And at that time, I was already working with some celebrities because the Ritz-Carlton hotel is expected. So I have worked with athletes and celebrities, giving them, massage or facials. And then the company that they carry their Italian line saw that I had a good touch, and I had a good communication skills. But keep in mind, I was in US for like 2 years. My English was good enough. So when they approached me to do trainings with them, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I can barely speak English. How can I teach? And she was like, Viviane, you have the touch, you have the technique, you understand the holistic approach. That is hard to teach. Everything else, is teachable. So, and then she said, we're an Italian line and we have international trainers all over the world. So we all speak a different language. So, boom, I was in training for, 10 days straight to learn the face, body, methodology, all of that product knowledge and all of that. So I started traveling with them. So I worked with spas nationally, internationally, traveling with my VP at that time, and or I went to different trainings by myself, and that really exposed me to high-end luxury kind of experience, and also taught me how people are not were connecting, the face and the body as well. So a part of me, because I truly believe that I was a teacher in another life. I was teaching stuff that I felt I knew about holistic approach, because that is a part of me, in the way that I grew up drinking teas and juices and being in touch with nature. So I brought that piece of me into, my educator experience. So that is a part of me that a lot of people don't know, because they see me on social thinking that is I'm just an esthetician, but that is my background. So then when fast forward, I traveled a lot, and fast forward to 2018, I decided to stop traveling and really just stay put in Philly. And then I reached out to a friend of mine. She works in this spa that I always wanted. I said, okay, once I stop traveling, I'm going to start. I want to work in this spa because it was in alignment with my previous experience. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, Kim, which is funny. She's working with me now. She's one of my estheticians. So I said, hey, Kim, um, do you know if rescue is hiring? She said, oh my gosh, let me talk to my manager. And she talked to the manager. She said, hey, send her the resume, and that's it. So I sent the resume and didn't hear anything back. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna show up.
Hmm.
Got there, got my red lipstick on, all black. I was like, okay, they're gonna see me today.
So ready to work.
Yeah. So I got there and I said, hey, may I speak to such and such? And she's like, hey, it's me. I said, hey, I'm Viviane. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I never got back to you. I said, no, no problem. So she gives me the tour, and she said, can you come back to have an interview with the owner? And the rest is history, to the point where I learned a lot. I
Yeah.
got my award-winning best esthetician in 2019, and with that came with a lot.
Yes. So thank you so much for sharing. Very interesting. But I can definitely agree with you. Like everything has been, it was aligned for you. And
Yeah,
the other thing is that you were okay with saying yes. It was like, maybe, and then you just jumped out there and you took the leap, right? So I like that because it was something that I talk about a lot. You have to be open to things, and if it's the right thing, the right door, the right time and opportunity, God will land you or lead you to the next thing. So that opportunity, even though that's not where you ended up, but it was the start to your path.
absolutely.
And so I love hearing that because I say that a lot, and you are the example, because sometimes we get so stuck and get caught in our heads of, is this the right time? Oh, I don't know if I can do it. Oh, I don't have the money. Or I would have to move. All of the things, right? We have all of those excuses in our head. But you went to massage school, somebody just based off of your hands, and you had the touch, right? You're like, okay. And then from there, it was like being in the right environment and allowing you to get the exposure and the experience of higher end clients, and the having the conversations of what to do when you got into the right environment for building their business. And that's all in alignment in God's timing. So I love that story.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
And
Perfect.
I agree with you 100%. Everything was divinely delivered. The people that had showed up in my life, which, hasn't been easy at
Hmm.
all. 23 years in US, they had lots of glories, but I also had a lot of struggle, but it's a part of the process. So I feel like I was being led by the spirit, like all these steps, even when I was on my low, it was like, okay, this is the part of, the growth. And so something in my heart, I never had the hesitation to say, or be in the maybe. Now that I have my business, is slightly different because every decision affects me directly and everyone that is working with me. So I'm learning to be more mindful with my decisions, and this is very recently. Okay.
I totally understand. So I know that you said it was over the course of years, and you've built this thing, and you've gotten all of the licenses, and you've gone to school. So at what point did you say, you know what, I want to stay with this? You wanted to actually start the business and go out on your own.
Well, I have a entrepreneurial DNA. That's out of the question. So I always, because my family had a very small business back home. And so I was trading things, making fruit salad to sell, in school to make some money to buy the things that I want. And so I always had that within me. And then when I start working with different spas, then I was like, this is an interesting business. And this is like the beginning of my career. So my future self was like, this is what we're gonna do, but you don't know yet. So then I would start reading books about opening a spa. Oh my gosh. That was 2003. Okay. Before my son was born. So I always had that within me. But I also knew that I was running a business within the business. I was selling my reputation. I was selling my knowledge. And so now I can say that, right? But for me, it was very natural to be Viviane. It was very natural for me to teach because, in my essence, I love to share knowledge, right?
Mhm.
So I think it hit me. Well, I didn't have a choice. So 2020, that's when I opened, my own practice when we got laid off. So that was that. But that desire always been within my heart.
So give me, I know because you said the struggles,
Mhm.
and you decided to do so based off of the experience and the exposure, right? Um we tend to, and in the coaching world that we're in, well, than myself, is more so like people want to go into something because I know the skincare industry is, it's been estimated. I know the industry is like $100 billion industry, and that was like what, 2023, and it's estimated to be almost 200 billion by the year of 32, right? And so when you see numbers like that, is it saying, okay, with the potential to do so much money in this industry, is it, would you say, is that the motivating factor for you to stay into it? Or like if someone's wanting to get into this business, let them know, like, when on your day-to-day grind, like, what does that look like? Because it can't be just about the billion-dollar industry, because it's a service-based business. So what is that like for you?
Well, I'm glad that you touch on this point. It's very romantic to look at out from outside, right? How much money this industry can make because um is all about feeding what the masses want to hear, right? My angle always been to empower women how to embrace self-care. That was always been my mission because I am a woman myself.
Mhm.
Like my mother, worked very hard. And so for me, I always been into my interest was always to hold space for other women, not knowing that I was kind of projecting that I needed that, right? So I didn't get into the industry because of the money. I was grateful that I was in this country and I was able to have a career in this country. And yes, by the way, it makes good money, but that the money was the driver for me, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. And so I do have some, DMs like people women wanting to get into aesthetics, or they want to leave their spa job to open their operation. It's not easy. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
There is there is the operator, the service provider, there is the manager who can manage tasks and people, and there is the CEO. And I'm learning this as we speak, and I've been in business for 4 years, and I'm finally getting it. So for those that they're just kind of reading stats and watching other estheticians like myself wanting what we have built, it is with a lot of sacrifice. I don't like to use the word struggle much, but a lot of sacrifice that we have to make to maintain, because now there's a lot of competition around. Now you have med spas open every corner. So now you need to understand your position in the market. Like, okay, my competitions are going medical, right? I'm not medical. I am a combination of like a cosmeceutical approach, which it has like medical grades ingredients, like products, brands that I carried. But then I also have the natural line. So I like to combine them because I don't believe in one size fits all. So for me, I'm constantly need to readjust myself. Like, okay, how can I share this message to my existing clients and the clients that they are looking for in between? They don't want to get the injections and the severe chemical peels, but they want to get the results. So I'm right in between. So going back to your question, like, yeah, it's not easy. And you have to have very thick skin to get to be in business, for sure. Because you can open, you can start a business, but you can shut down that business within 3 to 5 years. And I'm still standing. There were some times that I was like, you know what? Forget all about this. I'm just gonna get a job. And the next day, I'm like, okay, forget about that because I don't see myself working for anybody, right? Because it's not the freedom, which is an illusion as well, right? But it is the control that you have of the vision that you have for, just a better service or a better experience for your customer or client.
I'm glad you brought that up, the process and then all of the glitz and glam, right? Because when you see, a celebrity or someone that is on a talk show, and I know you've been on television and you've been promoting your business and your brands as well, but when the average ordinary female sees that, oh, I can get on TV and I can have this life and this lifestyle, it brings that clarity, it brings that the dream world into it, right? But it is a process. You stated it yourself. And the grind is real when you're building something, coming up with the name, the logos, and you have to stay in it, and the overhead costs, because it is a brick and mortar. You can't go into what you're doing into your kitchen and say, I want to, do facials. There is a process, and that things are regulated, right? So you have to have a passion for it because it's still a service-based business. You still have to give good customer service. You have to be a listener, and you have to care about what you're doing. And I think that's what people fail to realize sometimes. They just see the industry, oh, $1 billion, let's go.
Well,
So,
most of these med spas are being owned by investors
hmm,
because they are reading these stats. And they
yeah.
see the money that is being made, right? So then they hire nurses, which they were amazing. But let's go junior. The estheticians out of school, they go to trainings for a good 10 days and they come back doing lasers, right? They understand the technicality, but they don't have the experience of hands-on experience with skin response
Hmm.
in skin types, different skin levels of reactivity, right? So I've been there before, but I wasn't introduced to something as advanced as laser, right? But now everything is so quick and everybody wants to make that money that people are, willing to take these risks. And so it's very hard to even hire someone right now. For me, has been hard because the expectations are unrealistic.
Yeah.
They want to make money right away. They want to be busy right away. And trust me, I've been an employee before. I thought that I was the shit. When I
Right.
became a boss, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to ask for forgiveness for my boss because I was like, I'm the best thing ever, right? Because they all told me that I'm the best thing ever. Like my last job, like I came in as I'm not out of school. So I'll let you know right now, I have these experiences, but I had to prove myself because I was working with another, like out of 15 estheticians, 10 of them, I'll say a good 8 of them were stellar.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
now I have to prove myself to get to that point, right? And it was a great lesson because at that time, because of my background as a body worker, an esthetician, holistic approach, I was introduced to different modalities like energy-based LED therapy, radio frequency, um, um, microcurrent, all of those things that I didn't learn that in school. I didn't learn that through my travels because it was more hands-on holistic approach. So I'm very, very grateful for my last job, which today I use all of that. And I deepen my knowledge to understand even further. And I believe that because it's just we all can work together.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that is the mindset, right? There are a lot of young women now looking at this industry. They jump in expecting to make that money, but it's not about the money. It's about how are you going to handle this? How are you going to drive this car?
Yeah. When
Because
times get rough, yes, because the storm
summer's
will
here.
come.
Summer's here. Summer's slow as F, okay?
Yeah.
Um, January is here. What you gonna do? So, to be honest with you, I'm learning this on the spot, and I've been in this industry for a while, but I wasn't a boss at that time. And even my mindset, I had to completely shift from an operator to a boss. This has been the past year and a half, and I'm dealing with all of that. And my husband said, with grace. But inside, I'm just like, oh my gosh.
You are what I call a fab leader. And it's funny because I have a program like it's that you are the fab leader from
Okay.
associate to boss, right? Because fab leaders, when you're going from working for someone, now you have that reality check. You have to be a boss because you thought you were all that in a bag of chips, honey. And now
Yep.
you realize you have to show up in your business, work on your business. You have to be the boss. You're the HR lady. You're hiring, you're training and
Lady.
developing, and now you still have to attend to customer service. So you're the all to all, right? And it's a reality.
It
And
is.
so they're thinking, oh, the Kim Kardashian's $1 billion brand. Oh, and her sister, $1 billion self-made millionaire, whatever the case. But you have to start at your level and realize that there's a reality check. And it's not going to always happen overnight. Like you said, it can be saturated, but it's also finding your niche, finding your lane, and finding your way. But I like your honesty in it because people really think that regardless if it's skincare um or makeup or whatever the thing is, it's just going to happen because it's a microwavable world. And the reality is it's not that. It's still a process to building a business. There's networking, it's a lot to it. So
And
I
even
think
maintaining relationships with your customers. It's a,
Mhm.
it's a 24/7 cycle.
Yeah. So let's talk about the brand. Circadia. Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah, it's one of the brands that I carried.
So I'm excited because I got my package. I want to share the package on camera. I was so excited. So tell us about your brand, and I mean I love it. The colors and the logo. I really love everything. It came in a nice little package, everybody, and she even got me a little thank you. I was like, oh, this is so cute. So tell us about it. Like tell us about your brand and all of that good stuff.
All right, so let's clarify. That's not my personal brand, is one of the brands that I carried. So
Okay. Okay.
Circadia is actually based in PA. I have a relationship with them since I started my career. Um, I love them. Price point is pretty affordable. I do have a different cosmeceutical line as good as Circadia, but
It's
it's they
2:30.
are they have different options or more options for acne management and pigmentation. Circadia as well. I like to rely on. I worked with clients that can drop $700 to a client that can only afford just one cleanser. So I'm very mindful with that, having products to offer that everybody can afford. So Circadia is in that midline. And still like Back Bar, I use the majority of the products is by Circadia. And so most of my chemical peels is by Circadia. Any exfoliating, rejuvenating treatments, I use Circadia. So the products that I sent you was based on the conversation that we had, and I was like, oh, just based on what you said, I had the call to call for those products for you. It wasn't like, oh, this is let me send this to her because it's fancy. No, it was more for the functionality based on what you had said about your skin.
So let's talk about that. So when they reach out to you initially, right? There's a process to that. So I'm glad you brought that up. So what is that initial step? Because I filled out you have a full out survey, so that way you can actually get to know the skin type and the client. So walk us through that initial conversation. Hey, they want to work with you, and this is what you will need to do first.
So with clients,
Yeah, absolutely. Because like what you said, it was literally based off of my skin type and what I do on a daily basis. Because I don't do a whole lot. You know, I told you I'm like, hey, I just do the cleanser. I wash my face, and I don't like anything extra. So you had to break this thing down to me. Hey, you sent me the survey, and I completed it, and it literally took me maybe a minute or two. And I just gave the process. But there you go. So how does
Um,
that, tell the listeners, like, this is what you need to do so that you can actually get the right service from you?
for sure. So in person, let's say you booked your appointment and you came in today, but in that confirmation notification, there is a form, like an intake form, where you leave all your information, medical history, and also a list of your concerns and allergies and all of that. So I already have an idea where that client is or might be. And then when they walk in, then we have a little conversation and I ask more questions and I have an idea, asking questions to see where the routine, if it is missing any piece in the routine, might be causing the issue. But not
Hmm.
only that, but also the lifestyle questions that I'm asking with, having this conversation with them. So then, boom, I get them on a table and then I cleanse and assess. So it's just a confirmation of the initial consultation, and then I'll be explaining to you what is going on with your skin and what might be happening. Also, if you need any upgrade, let's say you're getting a microdermabrasion and I feel like you're ready for a micro and a chemical peel, then we have that conversation. But not all chemical peels are made the same. I just want to put that out there. So I also offer online virtual skin coaching where I will send the same intake form. I have that information before we get on the call. I have an idea where you are, and then we have this kind of engagement where we having this conversation. I'm asking, so I walk through the same assessment as if you were, with me in person. The only thing that you miss really is the experience to get the treatment. But
Hmm.
you're gonna walk away with, okay, here's what your skin is, and here are the products that I feel like is going to make a difference.
So
So yeah.
go ahead. So would they need to make an appointment with you to get the products, or do you recommend? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I do offer they can go on my website and purchase a product, or they can have a session with me. There is a fee attached to it. But then you have that session with me, and you also have I offer, I think, like 15%, I think, by purchasing the products from me. And that's another thing I wanted to make clear. I have a lot of clients, existing clients or people on Instagram that they ask for recommendations, and I like to recommend things that I know I have used myself and the products that I carry in my studio. And for the main reasons, not because I want to make the money myself, is because I know the products that I sell. I went to training, I use them, I get my clients using it. And if it is on, if it's not on their budget, then I have, a brand like La Roche-Posay that I can rely on. But other than that, I like to suggest the products that I know, because then if anything happens or the results that you're looking for, I know I can help you with that. So when you are, having a session with me, I always rely on the products that I know.
Okay.
And I educate you why I'm doing this, why I'm suggesting these products. And so, yes, you can buy a vitamin C off Amazon for $50, but that vitamin C, it might not be as potent. You might not see the results, as fast as a serum that is 120. That is not only vitamin C. There are other ingredients in the delivery system that you're also paying for that. You get it? So
Yeah.
it really is all about education. And what I have noticed throughout my career, training other estheticians and also getting clients from different estheticians, not too many estheticians are comfortable to really go granular, really ask the questions or even talk about a specific product or ingredient. So the client, the consumer, they're, oh, I have a vitamin C, but I'm
Hmm.
looking at your skin is not working, right? Like You get it? So it's a lot of education, especially for women of color, people of color, because this is kind of new to us. We've been embracing, we're in the movement of hair, hair care.
Mhm.
But when
Mhm.
it comes to skincare, the main difference, we're dealing more with concerns, hyperpigmentation and acne scarring. We never been taught or had the luxury to really just get up and go, because we are
Okay.
dealing with, hyperpigmentation. And so that's why I'm passionate about what I do, because that's who I like to serve. Those that they have bought all the products, went to all estheticians, and then they land in my studio, and I'm like, oh, I love this. Yeah, it's more than just the product. There
Yeah.
is the mindset as well, because if you always had challenges with your skin, you're always going to look at your skin as a burden.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I need to take care of my skin at night. Oh my gosh, you want me to use this mask every other day, Viviane? Da, da, da. No, mama, listen to me. This
Yeah.
is an opportunity for you to touch, really in touch with yourself. Like, this is the check-in time where you're removing all this stress from the day. And then now you're loving on yourself with the
Yes.
products, not only the products, but the how the ritualistic piece of this skincare routine that you can build for yourself. Okay, my husband, for example, my routine is, as soon as I get home, I drop my bag, I say, hey babe, go upstairs, take a shower, do my skincare, and then I'm ready for dinner, for washing the dishes or whatever. But I get that done right away because, one, like, cold water, hot water just ground me.
Yeah.
And if
Yes.
I don't do that now I need to take care of my skin, because I will fall asleep watching TV,
Yeah.
which I hear that often with my clients. But for me, it always is ingrained within me. You shower when you get home after
Yes, I
okay.
do that
Yeah,
too. I
yeah.
have to
So,
get it's like I have to just like take that layer off of me and be done so I can start anew. Like, okay, the second job starts, right?
yes, yes.
So yeah, I'm
Second
with
job, the mother, the wife, and everything else.
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you feeling clean and everything, and that you can love on everybody in the house because you've showered and you don't have to worry about all of that extra stuff. And it does help. It really, really does help. Seriously, it does. So tell me this, like, do you have any projects or anything that's coming up, or do you do events at your location, or tell me about that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So there is something that I'm not allowed to share yet, but there is something major happening next month, actually. Glad you asked. So what is that? It's this project that we've been in conversations for the past year, and it's finally happening. Yeah. And the
I know
second
what it
one.
is, but I'm not gonna say anything. But I'm so excited for you. I'm like, that is so major, and I can't wait until you can share it because I think
Yeah.
that's going to definitely catapult you to another level. But I know you're on a level now, but that's definitely going to take you to another level. So I'm excited, and I love that God is blessing you with that open door. Um, I really do. I'm excited. So we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But so
But my next project is which it has been taking me a lot of time to finish, is a membership for my business. And so I've been procrastinating, because it's very detailed oriented, because I need to make sure, there's no like misinformation understanding, because membership is a little tricky. It's not just like buying a package. So that is that. And in October we're gonna be 4 years. So I wanted to kind of have, a little, and I moved to a new location this year. So could be like an integration of, an open house with introducing the membership not concept, but it would be the membership thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to business.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. So projects coming up in the Big Thing project next month, and you are thinking about expanding and scaling with a membership opportunity. And so, if the listeners want to get tapped in, you're in Philadelphia. Where can they find you? Like, how can they tap into Viviane?
Everybody can find me on Instagram. My full name is the name of my business, Viviane Aires Skinwellness.com. That's my website. And you can always find me on Instagram, Viviane Aires Skin, and on LinkedIn, and on X, and on YouTube as well. That's another thing too. That's my actually my yeah, in between the membership and also kind of rebranding my business within YouTube. So that is also upcoming. Yeah.
And you have a podcast, right?
Thank you for letting was listen, if you only knew what's happening behind the scenes. Yeah, my podcast. So I have a podcast called Be Bonita. And the podcast is all about really sharing um, experiences around like self care and mindset and
Mhm.
entrepreneurship. I like to share my opinion about things. I like to share also things that I'm getting into with my audience. I love to interview female founders, how to balance, the work-life balance, how they do it, and how they do their self-care, what is their skincare routine. And that is an opportunity for me to also, bring that skincare to the conversation. The podcast is not only for skincare, it's more about the mindset of a woman and bringing all these pieces together, mind, body, and soul, and being fabulous.
And being fabulous. Hey. I like it. I like it. Well, you have been so fabulous today. So I
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for this great episode. You guys, this has been another great episode of the Sly Ed Experience podcast, where successors lead you through education and determination. I am your girl, your host, Latasha Sly, and I am out. Take care.